My name is Stephen Rafferty, and you're watching These Are Questions. This is the interview show where I ask people questions about things, life, and such not. And today's guest is a talented musician, songwriter, and professional actor. Please welcome Ian Sebastian, or formerly known as his moniker nickname, Conscious.
Thank you so much. I am very happy to be here, very happy to be talking to a friend, and I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of These Are Questions. I tremendously appreciate it. But before we get into the show itself, I need to explain the rules of These Are Questions. Ian, I'm going to ask you a series of questions going to be based around your career and aspirations, along with a mixture of questions that are borderline idiotic and, well, randomly stupid. Do you accept those terms?
I accept them, and more than that, I encourage them.
Ooh, okay. Be careful what you wish for there. This is going to be a wacky, funky, wacky, fun interview.
I hope.
Alrighty. So with that, Ian, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Internet, are you ready? Take that as a yes. I hear the sound of silence, but it's okay because it's also the sound of madness, which in turn makes it the sound of consciousness. Yeah, play on words right there. So
Yeah.
The internet is ready.
They're ready.
They are ready.
And if they're not, they will.
Damn right they will. With that in mind, let's begin. So, for the viewers watching and listening on our various platforms, here's some backstory. So me and Ian met through season 1 guest, Carolina. We met at one of her official rap parties earlier last year. And if you remember when we formally met, I said to you that, hey, at some point in the future, we're going to work together formally. And look at us now. Here we are. These are questions. I would love for you to introduce yourself formally to our audience here and explain the many different trades you currently practice.
Of course. Well, my name is Ian Sebastian, also aka Conscious. And I actually do a lot of things. I do a lot of things. My passions, the things that I hold the most to myself is acting and music. That is definitely my reason to be here. Given everything that I've been through and all the things I've tried, it's been the one thing that's stuck and it's been making me feel the happiest and it's the easiest to express myself. I am also a photographer. I do con.art photography, and I do whatever needs to be done, really, to be honest with you. Anything in the arts, I love learning new things. Anything that needs to be, that catches my attention, I end up either learning a little bit about and going all in. But I'd say the main things is music, acting, modeling, photography, and any sports. I love sports. Soccer is my, football. Argentina, champions. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. He got his win. He finally got his win.
That's all. I'm so happy.
Well deserved there. So it's awesome. So you focus on those main kind of 4 pillars there in the arts and media there. And it kind of goes around because a lot of performers and entertainers, yes, they have maybe their one main area, but I always suggest to dive into other areas of the arts because you never know where you find another set of true passions, and you never know who you meet within those connections and passions there. So it's always good to be connected in that sense.
Exactly.
So very cool. And let's start off with your music specifically. How did you break into music, and where do you want to take yourself musically speaking in the future?
Whoa, good question. So, I'll start really quick. Before, when I was younger, going back, I always wanted to be a veterinarian, right? I was in school, middle school, high school, all with agri-science classes. I basically had chickens in my house, chickens, roosters, guinea pigs, rabbits, goats, name it, geese at one time. Not my mom's favorite. She hates them, but it's one of my favorites. I love them. And so I was always surrounded by animals, and I was always doing this. My dad was a professional musician in Peru. He had a few record deals down here in Miami, and all that with Fonovisa, Sony, and so already, it's in my blood. Somewhat started off a little bit there, but I was in the route of playing soccer and being a vet, and it was all the way until I played violin and viola when I was younger, but it didn't last too long. I decided to end up going with soccer, and I kind of lost that. But as the years went by, and the more I realized, and I started listening to myself and really what was going on in my head, I not that I'm crazy and I'm hearing voices, but I
Mhm.
was hearing melodies. I was hearing different things and different tunes, and I was always tapping my foot. And everyone's like, "Why are you so anxious? Why are you? What are you thinking about?" And I'm like, "I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm hearing stuff. Things that maybe I want to lay down or whatever." And I never understood the music back then, and there wasn't like YouTube or anything as prominent as it is now, where you can go and look up stuff or how do I do this or how easy it is to make music now. And so I didn't really put too much like emphasis on that side of my life yet. I was just moving forward. But it was only until my our senior year, 2015 or 2014, turning 2015, that my cousin and I, Noel Ranuschio, he's Argentinian, we started working on some music because we heard an MGK Steve Aoki song, and we must have been altered in some way
Mhm.
because we looked at each other for no reason, not having done anything with music before or anything. He had like a free FL Studio app on his computer. We looked at each other and we're like, we could do better. Don't know why we thought that. Not to say that anything. I would love to work with both of them in the future. We were just up probably. And
I got you. Don't worry. I got that sensor right there. The audience knows now.
and yeah, we ended up just working on music, and we became all-nighters, all dot-nighters, because all-nighters was taken by somebody who died, but we didn't know how that worked. Can
Yeah,
we
the,
still take the
the
name?
legal.
Can we not? Legal. So we're like, all right, all period nighters for now, and we'll figure it out. And in the beginning, we started working on some music, and we came up with like 4 songs. And I was so nervous, like I was so like shy. I didn't know if I really wanted to go into it. And I was taking little tiny like, I was dipping my toe in the water at this moment in my music career. And the second we started doing that, like I couldn't even like no one could be in the room while I was recording like vocals. No one could be like I played the song for my parents when I first started, and I ran out to my room.
Oh
Like I
wow.
ran to their room and I played it and I left because I was like, no one ever saw me as I was a shy kid who's played soccer, was good at soccer, and knew everything about animals at that time. And so I was, little by little breaking into it. And then we met with some cool people that he had met through in Argentina because he lived there before. And we had met this guy named Mateo Schur and his sister Stella Rose at the time.
Mhm.
Now, Stella Rose, some of you may know in the internet. Her name is now Rosie, and she's kicking ass. She's all over the place. She broke the internet with this one song, "Never the One," and she's all over the place. And she's making music, and I'm very happy and proud for her. And the brother also, they're both working really good. But when we started it, we had made these ideas, and we started there, and we didn't know what to do, and whatever. And then I had to go to college. I went to college to go play soccer, study biology, do the whole vet thing. As years went by, 2 years passed, and Ohio was the choice of college that I went to. I went to one over there because I got a scholarship to play soccer. I froze. I'm from Florida. I froze, and I had to come back. So when I came back, I tried to switch it was a private school. We tried to go to FAU. They didn't accept any of my credits for biology. So they were like, "You're gonna have to start over to be a vet."
Hmm.
And at this time, I was already diving in a little more with the music. I had already, met some other people, started doing YouTube beats, started recording them at studios, my verses and stuff, feeling a little more comfortable around other people singing, rapping. I was a rapper first, didn't play any instruments at first, with the exception of violin, but didn't know how to play anymore. And as time kept going, I started maturing more in thought, and I realized what was calling to me. At every moment, at every step of the way that I was doing anything in life, I hear music. And I heard it every single time, but I didn't know how to express myself. I didn't know how to say it or explain it to anybody because I didn't want everybody being like, "Oh, well, then maybe you should do that or you shouldn't." I just kind of wanted to figure it out myself. And when I came back, and they told me that I couldn't, I didn't get anything. I had to start over for biology. I went into FAU, the biology class, and I remember looking at biology 101. And the teacher, 300 students in here, and I remember how hard I studied, how hard I worked to pass that one in the beginning because it was, I was never a studious person at first for the things I didn't like. Because biology isn't veterinary, I'm learning about the living cells. I'm learning about everything, the study of life. And even though the study of life is important, and all that, it wasn't specific to what I knew what I wanted to know. So in that class, I remember standing up and I walked out. I was like, I'm not doing this again. So I switched at that moment to acting because also right before I left the college, my second year,
Yeah.
or before I went to FAU, before when I was in Ohio, I
Mhm.
had a friend. His name was Cedric Thomas. He was a director and an editor, and at the time he was at Full Sail. And so he asked me to score his movie, with just YouTube beats that I got because it was an independent film. It wasn't going to be sold or anything.
Yeah.
So YouTube beats that I got, just, like sing, rap, do your thing, record him in the studio and score the movie. And he had seen something and he goes, why don't you audition for the lead role? Because I think that maybe you fit the person I want. Never in my life have I thought about acting. Never have I done any acting. Nothing at all. I was like, "Are you sure, dude? Like, sure. Tell me what I got to do, and I'll do it." And I was in Ohio. He's in Orlando, so
Yeah.
we did it off basically on Zoom.
Okay.
And I auditioned. And when I auditioned, I ended up getting the role. So I got the lead role for the independent film, and then I got for the short film, and then I was able to score the movie with my songs that I had made for that situation. And I'm no one. I'm not. It's not like like with our friend Caro, where I have those friends who can help me get more of a professional sound. I had nothing. So I basically just found a way to do it. I did it, and then so when I went flash forward again to FAU. I walked out of the biology class. I was like, all right, I can't just drop out without anything in my head. I need to know what to do. So let me take some acting classes here. They didn't have any music classes or anything for people who weren't musicians. So I was like, all right, because I didn't know how to play any instrument. So fine, I'll do acting. So I started acting, right? And I fell in love with it a little bit before in the short film. I was like, people get paid to do this? They get paid to do all this stuff? And then to make the music for the show? Really? This is a real job? Like, okay, let me try it. I went to the acting class, terrible, because one, my teacher wasn't even there half the time. There was like 16 or 15 classes the whole semester, and he was gone for like 8 or 9.
Oh, jeez.
And only the first class was fun. The first class was improv. We're all like, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. Everything else was just reading A Glass Menagerie, and not that the book or the play is bad, but what he had us doing was downright embarrassing. And he recorded us, and then he would just be like, that was great. And then he wouldn't show us. Or be like,
Oh,
but
that's a little weird.
yeah,
You
a
should at
little
least
weird.
see feedback of your work.
Yeah. And so I ended up just going to another class, for like another semester. I stayed another semester. And at this point in my head, I'm already fighting and battling all these things. I'm like music and acting, and I'm questioning, I'm like doing theater acting here, or like preparing a set for theater. And I mean, I guess it's important for an actor to know that, but like in my head, I'm like, I want to do now. I need to be in this place and do it, because that's the only way I learn. I learn by doing. I don't learn by like listening or anything. I'm like, look, if you want to teach me something, like beat me up into it. You get me? Like show me by force. And that's how I learn. I learn like that, muscle memory, and then just and then from there I started adventuring in that world. And so there was this one occasion that I had a friend who, she was in Atlanta, and she told me they're accepting extras for Bad Boys 3, and it's in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah.
I in FAU is in Boca Raton, and I lived in like Wellington area, so like West Palm Beach area, right?
It's a bit of a drive.
So I decided, I was like, I didn't know, the extra jobs, I didn't know how important that was, or what it meant. So I decided, I was like, okay, well, it. I'm gonna go and do this, and the final was on that day. But I told my teacher, I was like, hey, my acting teacher at the time, and I was like, hey, I have this opportunity to be on Bad Boys 3. I didn't say it was an extra because I knew that it's not that big of an opportunity.
Well,
But
it is. Hold on, don't knock extras. You got to get your foot in the
no,
door
you're
some
right.
way.
You need to go through it. You need to
Yeah.
go through it.
And
But
that's a major movie. That's a major production.
But to skip a final for an extra job, maybe. I mean, for me, in my case, yes. I get if it's one or the other, and you're making a choice on that. Yes, you're right, 100%. You're right on that. You go for it if it matters that way.
I'm just gonna say quick disclaimer. For those that are in school and education, we don't condone this. These are questions. You decide to do how you want to do your own life. Wink, wink. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Exactly. And so I had that opportunity, and the final was on the day that I was going to be out.
Okay.
But I thought, this is acting. I'm here learning to act. So an opportunity, for sure, she's going to let me like take the test another day, because it's not, the finals aren't set on one day. And I went up to her and I told her, and she didn't like me the whole class, because I didn't understand too much the theater world as much as I did the film world, because I had more experience in the film side. And I would ask questions about film, and she didn't want to answer anything, only theatrical. And I'm like, all right, well, theatrically, how would you handle this? And she still wouldn't answer my question. So she didn't like me. Mm-hmm. And she said, you know what, I'm just going to fail you, because you're not going to come to the final. I'm not going to come back to school another day or whatever to do this for you. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. That's fine. Go for it. Fail me. And then I decided to go. And I took two other friends from the same class that she excused. And we went. It was Steve and Kaz, which Kaz is now, he has his own podcast. He's doing amazing. Proud of you, Kaz. And we went all the way to Atlanta. We drove 9 hours to Atlanta that same day. And when I went there, I saw Martin Lawrence and I saw Will Smith. We met them. Will Smith bumped into me, and when he did that, I was like I looked at him. He's like, "I'm sorry," and I was like, "I'm sorry for existing near you and hitting you. I'm so sorry." Like, it was one of those moments. It was a surreal moment because you get to see what you've seen your whole life.
Yep.
On TV, Bel Air and everything, and you see him in person. And they're just a normal person, but besides that, it's the job. It was like, now it wasn't so much as Will Smith, like I'm starstruck. It was, I'm starstruck acting. I'm starstruck music.
Yep.
I'm hearing music of people that I know are being played for this movie. Yep. And in my head, I'm like connecting both. I'm like, music, acting. They go hand in hand if you play it smart, And so at that moment, it changed my life because when I got back, I was like, okay, I'm dropping out of high school. I'm dropping out of college, not high school. I'm dropping out of college. Disclaimer: try to finish high school because at the very least you need that for anything else. Right? If nothing works at all at the end or whatever, you at the very least need like a high school. But I said I'm dropping out of college because college for me at that moment isn't providing me with anything that's going to help me in what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Not anymore because I tried it. I went in there. I was doing the acting and everything. But I did know I need to study acting, but with somebody who knows. Somebody who's not going to make me record me and not show me what I did and stuff like that. I need somebody. So I got into an acting class. I was around here and I was doing that. So I got into that before I dropped out. There was still like a month or two left of school. And she just had the final super early for some reason. It was like April around there. And I started like May and like a little bit of June. So while that happened, I was grinding nonstop, just working and trying to find out everything I could in Florida to find out for acting, agents and everything. What do I need? A headshot? Okay, what's a headshot? I took a headshot like basically here I was like, and I sent that out. That's not a headshot, no. But that's like close. It was good enough. It was the only picture I had because
you got to start somewhere. Start somewhere.
Exactly, and I sent it out to every agent here, every single agent. The only agency that responded with "We'd like to see you" was Talent Direct Agency. I'm still with them right now. Loyalty. Huh? And they opened the doors to me, and I went in for the audition, still in school, and I auditioned in front of, I don't know how many, there was like, all the agents were there today, and there was some people waiting in the guest line, and I was already pretty nervous, because I'm not an actor per se, I was already studying a little bit of acting, and I had seen some stuff, but I didn't have the confidence yet, or didn't know if I could do it or not. And so there was a monologue that I had memorized, but when she said action, I forgot it. And so what I ended up doing is what I ended up realizing that I'm good at, which is improvising. And I improvised a whole scene and just made up a character and everything. And at the end, they were like, "Wait, that was great. That was good. We would like to sign you." We listened to that. They gave me a paper, everything else. And in my head, I'm like, that just happened. Okay. That was the first thing I needed. I was like, I need an agent. I got an agent. I was like so happy. I got the hat on. I took a picture, sent it to the family. I was like, I got an agent. I'm about to be an actor, guys. And then like my agent, when I was explaining what I was doing at the acting school and everything, she was like, okay, well, that's good, but you could do better because you need to learn more of what to be like. You need to learn method acting. You need to learn where acting comes from, the basis of acting, everything about it, and you're not learning that. You're just going over a few things. So I agreed. And she presented me to the best, hands down, the best acting coach I've ever had. And I've tried in between that time. I'm missing a few acting coaches that I've gone through from Atlanta, from Cali that came down and everything. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who aren't good acting coaches and they just want the money, Miami and stuff like that. I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but I went through a lot of classes. And then when I went to the first class of Michael Jacques, film acting with Michael Jacques, I'm telling you, my life changed because I realized how little I knew about not just like acting, but like life, how to view it. Because acting is you're not pretending to be somebody. You're literally feeling that, especially if you're doing method acting. Yep. You're becoming that character. You're becoming that person, and you're going through these feelings and these motions, and you're trying to find a way to portray that without feeling or making it seem that you're not truly that person or character. It's all about commitment. It's all about commitment. And I learned so much in that class. And besides that, he's just such a great person. And he's tough and he's intense, but that's exactly what you need for something like this, because you have to break down what you know about your emotions, your feelings and everything, and then start learning things from outside and from other people, like persons, like in the wild, for example, like in the wild, like at the mall. Like I would sit down and this is one of the homeworks. Like look at people, just look, gain little things. Oh, I like that. I like what that person did there in that conversation. You know, it looked extra normal. And you start gaining these things, start adding all these things to you. And when I met him, changed my life. He is still working actor. That's how crazy it is. He's so many years of experience, and he still works. And that's why he's better than everybody else that I've known, because he's teaching you how he gets the jobs.
Absolutely, while he's actively in the field. That's what you want.
Exactly.
Word of advice, and you could take it for, these are questions for those listening, watching. Like, if you're trying to do something in any craft and you're trying to learn from people, try to get someone that's actively in their field or have been in the field consistently for a long period of time, because that makes or breaks a difference when you're doing certain things, certain connections, certain techniques, stuff like that. Not saying you can't ask somebody that has permanently been for it, but it's just that the longer that they've been away from the certain trade, the harder it is to get the same advice that you currently need, especially in acting and entertainment in general, because it constantly changes.
Exactly. 100% right on it, right on the money in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met him and I started working. Literally, I met him, let's say June. That same day, funny enough, how things like all full circle in like the acting music. That same day, first class I had that I went to was also, it happened to also be the first class of a friend of a music friend that I know now. His name is Matt Ryan, Matty Inc. on Spotify, and he was there with his mom. And so I went, I introduced myself, and I said music, which I wasn't fully in yet because I was, still like I was not professionalizing the acting first, because music I'm still little by little meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
And the second I said music, Michael says, "Oh, Matt Ryan, Ian, you guys have to meet after class. Make sure you change information." He never did that in any class before. It was like, or after. It was like it had to happen at that moment. And when I met Matt, we started going like every other week. I went to his studio, his house, and he had a studio there, and we were working. And I was finally able to take out the ideas and all these melodies and shit that I had in my head and put it out to somebody. And he was able to find those melodies and make the music that I wanted to make. And so in my head, instantly, it was like a boom. I was like, whoa, okay, acting, music. Again, acting, music, another reason why I should combine these and be in this world. A month after that, I got my first ever acting gig, and it was through the agent, through the casting director that I had studied under and everything, and it was a SAG commercial, a national SAG commercial. So that, in acting terms, is the best jobs you can get, because you can make the most money out of those, commercial-wise, because if it's national, every time it gets played, you get money, and if it's SAG, the union protects you. Yep. So it means that you get extra money for everything. So they paid me really good for the job itself. But if it ever came out, or if it ever comes out, hopefully it does, it's with Privanka for the speaker system, BMW cars.
Got to phone a friend here.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. I don't have to go into detail with that one. But it was for a really good like speaker system line. And Privanka's huge star, huge Bollywood star before she was like married to one of the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah,
Nick Jonas.
Yep.
She was on it, and we were like, and I was one of the leads, and so I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Already starting to see some work. So everybody, before I dropped out, because no one knew I kind of dropped out yet. I had just mentioned it a little bit. And I dropped out initially. Like I was like, I'm not coming back next semester. Like I told FAU, I was like, I'm not coming back. Don't expect me. But I hadn't told anybody else yet. But I was seeing the fruit of the labor that I was doing, and I was all of a sudden I realized, I was like, I just started. I'm already working. Like this is a great sign.
Yeah.
Then the month right after that, literally the month right after that, something that I had submitted like almost 9 months before, Adidas called because I submitted to it, and they're like, hey, we want to see you for a callback tomorrow. Now, in the acting world, the callback is never promised.
Nope.
It's not
Nothing ever is.
So exactly. It's only promised when you see the contract.
Yep.
And when they're like, we want you. Here's the contract, sign. You sign, boom, now you're good. And then you have to do the work, and then you get paid. But when they told me that, I was like, they want a callback for tomorrow. Now, the callback is in New York, and I live in West Palm. And so it was a decision where I was like, okay, Adidas, soccer, no matter what, this one's mine.
Yeah.
That's what I put in my head. I was like, this one is mine. I'm going to take this one for sure. And I called my agent. I told her what was going on. It's not like it wasn't union. It wasn't a union job, because that would have been really nice, and it wasn't that much money. It was good. It was good money, but it wasn't that much to maybe even make that risk. And I called my agent and I told her, and this is new. And she's like, well, I would advise you not to do it. It's just a callback. You're not promised anything. You could waste money going to New York, staying there, wasting money on food and all this stuff, waiting, and then maybe they say no. But I told her, I was like, you know what, Sabina, on this one, my agent name, on this one, I like this. This is mine. I promise you. And she said, you know what? If you feel it that strong, go. And I did. I went to New York. The next day, I stayed at my cousin's. Thank you, Diara. Then when I stayed over there in New York, and I did the callback. I felt amazing, but days went by, like a week went by, and no answer. And I'm still in New York, and everyone's like, "Are you coming back yet?" And I'm like, "Not yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So it was like Thursday. Now it's Wednesday, and they were supposed to film like, oh no, so it's Thursday. It was Thursday the audition.
Okay.
The callback, and then it was like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 days passed already, and they were supposed to know because the work was on Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, oof, I know I got it. I'm okay. They're going to call me any moment. And then right before my mom called me to tell me, all right, I think it's time that, maybe we get you a ticket back. They sent me an email and they're like, you got the part. Like, you got the part. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, I got the job. Yeah, okay, come back tomorrow. We're going to do this, and that. And then Thursday, Friday, we film. And I went and I filmed in a beautiful park outside of Manhattan where you can see the city in the back. And we just played soccer, and they paid me to do that. They paid me basically to go to New York, have fun at a callback, see my cousin that I hadn't seen in a really long time, like make a better a relationship with my cousin and everything. Then play soccer with new Adidas gear, taking pictures of this and that with other cool actors, also soccer players. Met really cool people there. And then I went back home after, and it took a year, but when it came out, it's worldwide. It went all over the place. And so my face is in a lot of Adidas stores. And so like in Bogota, it was right outside a huge, like my face was huge, and my friend passed by and he's like, what the? Is that it?
Yeah.
They sent it to me, and then it was such a cool feeling to start seeing that exposure, that world. And so between that time, I had met Carolina. Randomly, I don't remember how, I honestly don't. It was a DM because I remember seeing her and I thought I knew of her because of another friend of mine.
Okay.
But I ended up not knowing. And so we ended up meeting up when she came back from New Orleans, and it was an instant connection where we're like, you want to work on some music? It's like, yeah, let's do it. I didn't know. And Carolina, with Carolina, Carolina.
I love her to death.
Me too. That's my musical soulmate. Okay. I'll always say it because I don't think anyone else understands me the way that she does. In terms of music, it's like we speak the same language. Okay. And it's hard to do that in music because everybody has their own ideas. So maybe we have our own language, but we can speak the same one. That's why we have a duo now called Just a Demo. And long story. Apologize. I know it's like the first question.
You're
but
good.
I probably covered a few other questions and all that. But with Carolina, I was able to start learning a different appreciation to music. I was able to start seeing a new world in there, and I was able to see all the things that look so distant to me be at my fingertips. And I was like, oh, I can do this too. COVID hit, all these different things happened. I had a lot of cool acting jobs and everything. I know that I can tell you another job that I really like too and everything, because there's another one that leading up to the really good one. But music started taking off in a different way because I realized I was like, I have all these ideas. How am I going to start pushing out my own melodies myself when I'm not there? COVID hit. I can't go to the studio. Right. I was staying at Alex's house at that time, and I had borrowed a guitar that my dad brought from Peru. I didn't know how to play anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this my thing. I'm going to be a guitar guy. I'm going to learn the guitar. And with time, all of COVID, I learned how to play enough with the help of my acting coach, who's also a guitar god. Michael Jacques is amazing. When I mean amazing, I mean if he had the social, if the social backing, or if anybody just heard him, you would realize, okay, yeah, he's different level good. He knows everything about the music. He all the riffs, all the guitar. He can imitate. He can do anything you want on the guitar. And he taught me how to play it in just a few lessons, And I was just practicing, and I've been practicing since. And I'm just creating my own sounds, my own everything. And now I have a different outlet that I could do it. And then with the playing guitar, now came, okay, now I can dabble with the bass. Now I'm remembering, I learned how to play because of the notes and the chords. Okay, now I'm learning the chords on the piano. Now I'm learning how to keep a beat on the drums. Now I'm learning how to do all these different things. I know how to harmonize. I know, and I start adding to my own repertoire of ways that I can express myself. So now I can produce music. I can play a ton of instruments. I have different things that different ways of thinking where, like, I'm making music for other people now, and I'm helping people like get their ideas out. And it's such a good feeling because it's like I look back and I'm like, whoa, the change that's happened. And I know it sounds like a long time, but to put a timeline, the change came in 2019. That's when I dropped out of school. It's only 2023 now. So I technically just started. Someone like Gato, for example, she's been doing this since she was a little girl, and she's that good for that reason. So it gives me hope, and it gives me motivation to search for that. That kind of that level of confidence, and like that we can do whatever, and I'm really close to that, so I'm very happy where I've headed. So I'll finish that question with that one, because I know we have a lot more.
No, you're good. You're good. No, just thank you for just going into great detail about your life story. And as I'm listening to your story, I'm hearing your connections of how football led into acting and led to dropping out with school and then moving a passion with music and then getting all these different deals. And then you're talking about Adidas and how it ties back to football. If you didn't have the football skills, probably wouldn't even get the role. You know what I mean? So like it all interconnects in some pathway there. And like, even though you may think, oh, maybe this is not what I want to do at this moment, that point in life can help you redirect to the point of life where you want to go into, or it can help you later down the line where it makes so much more sense there. So it's not a problem at all. Just thank you for sharing that detailedness of your story there. And the fact that you've done so much in such a short period of time shows how many future opportunities are going to be coming for you in your way. You're just starting out. And not getting too much with Carolina, I love her to death, but like what I loved about Carolina is that we both have similar mindsets where we both started very young in our prospective careers. And when I met her, she was doing everything from the branding to the marketing to the behind the scenes to the record label to the album covers to the actual songwriting, the actual music, and she's still doing that. So she's been such a trooper in what that she does, and she's one of the most brilliant musical minds I've met, but one of the most brilliant business minds I've met. So like the fact that you guys collaborate and you guys have such a good relationship shows how strong both of you are going to be. And I hope those collaborations continue for the two of you and continue for your perspective works in your music and acting work. So I'm excited for you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. But yes, I do need to go into more questions because these are questions. And I do have a question for you. You call yourself Conscious, which is a very cool moniker. How did the name come to be, and how did it stick with you?
Ooh, good question too. Actually, this is a shorter story, so that's good. So my friend Cedric Thomas, back in the day as well, when I first started getting into the music, which was like once I started dabbling, I had gone to high school with him, so he had heard all my early stuff. He had heard the beginning stuff that I started, and he's one of the first people who gave me that confidence and that motivation to pursue it. Because it's as easily as I could have, as I'm here right now, I could have not been if simply he just listened and goes, yeah. But he said, it's not. I know it's not where you want it to be yet, but you got something here. You have like your voice, you have lyrics, you got something, that with time could be really, really good. And he was one of the first people to do that. And I needed that. I needed that because that support I knew I wasn't going to find anywhere else, because I wasn't willing to expose or share with anybody. He was like he was a competitive friend at first, because we would go to PE and we would always race in the mile and stuff. Since I played soccer, I was always running. So I was always training. And I at that time I was faster. Now he's way faster than me. But I say that because I know by saying that I was faster than him back then, he's gonna forget and be like, no, nuh-uh. But it was true, because we had the proof. Mm-hmm. Well, the school has it. We're gonna have to go look for it. But he and I would talk a lot about the things, and I had I would tell him what I would think about it, and I'm like, I need to come up with a name, but I don't know what it could be, because I don't want to be Lil this, Lil that, or whatever. I don't want to be just another rapper, because I was a rapper at first, and but I do want a name that's gonna mix and blend in with what I want to say. You
Yeah.
know, I want people to understand. I'm not talking about girls, I'm not talking about drugs, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about whatever I'm going through on that time, or whatever it is that, like, it's topics, specific topics. I started off with social political topics, in the sense of, like, like, let's do this for us. Like, we don't forget that we're people, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're all humans, we're all in this together, type of situation. It wasn't like, like the whatever. I found a nice way of blending it in so it doesn't sound too cheesy or whatever. But we were struggling with the name, and one day Cedric just goes, "You know what, dude? Conscious. I don't know anyone named Conscious. Like, by being conscious, you're consciously living. You're conscious. You're being conscious of your situation. You're not saying anything in specific by saying that you're conscious. You're just saying that you're aware, right? And that's like enough. As after we thought about it, we're like, conscious, yeah. And it stuck, because the meaning of it definitely took, like, it gave meaning to my music. Now I have an idea. I'm not just singing the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm conscious about what it is that I want to do on that before. So then lyrically, I allow myself to go into this like a story making mode in my head.
Yeah.
It starts producing words and all that to a story that I want to tell. And then I love writing in ways where you can take many perspectives out of it. I'm huge on perspective. I got a tattoo, perspective.
Oh, cool.
So within that search for perspectives, I was able to find, like, ways of writing where you can understand it differently than I wrote it. And I want that. I want people to have different understandings. So maybe, like, certain songs, you can hear it and you can take a meaning out of it, but then I wrote it with a different story or meaning in mind. And mine could be very detailed, very specific, meaning that not people may not know. And obviously, just because they weren't me and they didn't live my life and they didn't see what I saw. But you can get so many different things at it. For example, one of the songs that I'm very proud of and I would love to remaster once I get more professional help in the future is Clover. Clover is a song that's on the show that came out as well. We'll get to that later. But and so Clover is a beautiful song to me because of the lyrics and how I wrote it. And I encourage the viewers, if you can, to go look up Clover by Conscious and Maddie Inc. And it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want to hear it.
Yeah, check it out.
And look up, just look at the lyrics. It's on Genius. We uploaded it. And whatever you think of what it is, if you want, go into the Instagram or comment it on wherever it is or anything. But it's got a beautiful meaning. And overall, that's what I try to do in every song. It's got different stories and maybe parts of my life in them, mixed with whatever I want to, like, what my point is in that song. And so, yeah, Clover and all that, it helps with like the name and everything. So Conscious basically stuck because of that. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Unique kind of backstory there. I definitely can relate in the sense of just being alert, being awake, and being aware of your surroundings and perspectives there. That's pretty cool there. And keeping on conscious there, I have a state of mind question to ask you. Do you prefer having consciousness or having unconsciousness?
Ooh.
Think about this. Think about this.
Well, actually, funny enough, I realized throughout my life that I act on my subconscious more than I do consciously. And by doing that, it's like I listen to myself or my soul, per se, in a way where it's like I've never been wrong when I listen to myself. My subconscious decisions, my subconscious thoughts going in, the things that I feel or that I do, my Jiminy Cricket inside has never been wrong. The only thing that's been wrong is when I don't listen to that, my consciousness, because it's like I know what's gonna happen if it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, they're like, all right, you're on your own. You didn't listen to me, But I depend on my subconscious a lot, especially with, like, it's that intuition that I get from when I meet new people, when the energy or whatever that's in the room, whenever I walk in somewhere or when I'm working with somebody, and that has helped and saved me a lot. Because that subconscious, because sometimes we're too in our head. Sometimes we think too much about it, and we don't really get to a point or something that we can confidently say, yes, it's this way. But for some reason, my subconscious has always been this: if you do this, this isn't a good feeling, or maybe this is a good feeling. Do this. So every time I listen to my subconscious. So I like the subconscious thoughts a little bit more than I do my conscious ones, which is weird to say, but
It's okay. It's kind of like a duality in a sense. You have the conscious mind, you have the subconscious mind, and they intertwine in between, kind of like yin and yang a little bit. So,
Yes.
mm,
Yeah.
giving ideas for music too. Just saying,
Yeah, you are. You are.
indirectly. Maybe you'll get a music idea with my next question here. And my next question is: can a bald eagle be friends with a bald person?
Whew. See, I don't think they would be able to understand each other because a bald eagle just has bald in the name, while a bald person is actually bald. So, like the bald eagle has feathers on his head, like the
Mhm.
white feathers, or like the fur, the fuzz, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The bald man just has the breeze. The breeze goes through it. So I'm guessing they could be friends, but they would never understand each other fully.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I feel like going back to the conscious, I feel like that's like a subconscious kind of like hidden feeling between the bald person and the bald ego. It's like man's best bald friend here or something.
I,
That was a good answer. I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty
you're
good
gonna need those
answer.
Sphinx cats to really get along.
Oh no, oh, we're getting
They're
cats involved with this. Uh-oh.
getting cats involved.
Getting all the animals involved. All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yes. Um Ian, I have a dice cube. Okay.
I need those.
I just want to ask you, this number between 1 and 6, where do you think this dice cube is gonna land on?
I'm feeling lucky. Lucky numbers in dice are always six. I think it's gonna land on a six.
On a 6? Okay, okay. I'm gonna write it down so we have it, but I also want you to remember the number that you chose for it, because this will play a role, pun intended, at the end of These Are Questions Season 5.
Gotcha.
So, but until then, you do not know where this dice cube will land on.
Yeah,
So just remember that.
gotcha.
Viewers, remember that. Listeners, remember that. Dice cube, remember to keep rolling. All right, cool. My next question is: do you have your own personal parking space?
Like in my house or in like a preference like out in public or
You decide if whatever you feel is a personal parking space to you.
Okay. I thought of cars instantly. I drive all the time. I'm so tired of driving. But I can't wait till I have like a limousine or somebody take me.
Never
But
know.
yeah, hopefully soon. A parking space. Oof, because that could be you can get really deep with that question if you really allow it to.
Mhm.
Whew. Parking space. Hmm.
Don't overthink it,
Yeah,
but
I'm definitely overthinking it because
just
I'm
think,
like, whoa, you can go really deep. I'm not gonna go deep on this one. I'm
Okay,
gonna I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the simple one out. Parking space. Do I have my own personal parking space? I guess I do.
okay.
I guess I do.
Mhm.
Going into it, I don't really know how I'm feeling about it. I don't know how to express myself in a way where I can attach them together. Parking space. Like for example, at Carolina's house, whenever go to park at her studio, I park in between two trees. So I guess I don't park I don't park my baggage or my feelings or whatever in like the obvious places. I park them in a more creative spot, so it maybe eases it up a little bit and makes it a less tense decision, maybe.
Okay,
Or it's
okay.
like I can deal with it little by little instead of having to go like right here, like this is the parking spot for it. No, it's like what? Why don't we park here today? Let's move in between this tree today.
What do you I like that. What you could do is get like your own custom sign for conscious parking space and just stick it between the trees. Um,
I think that's a good
you,
idea.
you got to let Carolina know
I gotta let
before you
Carolina
do
know.
that,
Yeah,
because she'd probably be upset because it's probably her personal
yeah.
parking space. I don't know. But just saying, in the future, you gotta get a custom sign.
Bring it up for her. I'll bring it
Yep.
up because I think it's about time. I'd say it's like the Hollywood stars. I think I need my tree parking space right here for conscious.
Yes, 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 yes. On the conscious walk of fame right there. Cool. So, you've answered a lot of my questions from your amazing backstory there, and I'm gonna stick to acting just for this next one, only because, like, I know you've worked on a variety of different films, TV productions, and media projects, and you mentioned that throughout this interview. Um, And you may have already kind of answered because you talked a lot about Adidas there, but you've done projects for various international partners and companies. Out of all the productions you've been featured so far, which has been the most rewarding for you to be a part of?
Oh, for sure. It's been the first Disney Plus show that I filmed. I did it in the I believe it was 2020, turning 2021. In December I started, and then after we filmed it there for an extra month in Mexico, beautiful experience. It was honestly eye opening, and it's the reason I'm an actor now. I'm considered a professional actor because I have, you know, that was the first start. That was okay. Now, I was doing commercial acting, and now I'm an actor. Now I'm a professional actor, which I mean depends who you ask, but I mean more like on the social side. Because before, you say you're a professional actor. Oh, what have you been on? Anything I know? It's like everyone that tells you those type of questions, and as an actor, I don't really want to hear that because you get paid to work as an actor. I don't need to get paid to work as an actor and be in front of you, your face, to consider myself a professional actor. But it was Repatriado, the repatriated. It's where I play the antagonist. My name is Martin, and I'm a boxer. Now, when I first started, I had done MMA before. I had fought before in those ways and everything, and because I love sports and I try to do as much as possible within it while I was also pursuing soccer. But boxing is a different dance. It's a different style of fighting. It's very specific, and it's very restricted, but at the same time, it's like it's a dance. It's a dance.
Yeah.
So when I first got the audition, do you know how to box? Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a pro, but I'm close to it. Oh, okay, great. We needed that. Okay, nice. Now, when they told me I got the part, I was livid. By the way, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what like, it was so crazy to me to think that I was gonna go work for Disney Plus and all that when it was the middle of COVID. Like I had done an audition in June. 3 months passed, radio silence, nothing. All of a sudden in September, late September, my agent called me. She's like, they're looking at you. I just want you to know that. They've been looking at you, okay? That's not saying anything, but don't keep your hopes up just in case, but just know, because in acting, you can't keep your hopes up. You never know when something's for you or for not, because sometimes it's not about how you act, it's about how you look. So we want this character because this looks more of the character, or whatever. And so I didn't hold my breath. I just kept doing what I was doing, this and that, or whatever. And then in October, they told me I got the part. And when they told me I got the part, I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was so happy. Now, when I got the part, they're like, all right, we're gonna put you with boxing classes just to keep you in shape and all that. And I was like, amazing, thank you. So I found a boxing coach. His name is Dave Luter. My God, one of the best boxing coaches ever. And not to say that I've tried a lot of boxing coaches or anything, but when you go to when you pass by gyms or whatever on the side and you see people going, all right, punch, and it's like no one's teaching you how to properly do it. They're not teaching you the proper steps or anything. Now, Dave Luter, I basically told him, I was like, look, I learned the hard way. You need to beat me up so I know what not to do or what to do in these sense. And not that he took it literal, but a couple black eyes later and all that, that's the only way I could have learned. It's the only way, because I told him, I was like, I want to learn this way. Because getting into it, getting in the ring and doing it this way, that's the only way I'm going to learn.
Yeah.
He taught me, and he had so much patience, and he did such a good thing, such a good job with how he taught me. I'm still training with him. Like I have a boxing bag in my garage. I have all the stuff, the equipment. I have I know, I watch it all the time. I could do boxing on the side if I wanted to. It's just another passion that arose from the work. But throughout that time, I practiced for it was like 2 months. He turned me into a boxer in 2 months, like a legitimate boxer. Because then we went to Mexico and I started filming, and with the other protagonist, his name is Richie Abarca, amazing actor, very, very cool guy. Love him and love his family. Whenever I go to Mexico, I always see him. He was the protagonist, and we were boxers and we're best friends and everything, and we fight each other a bit and all that. So it was such a cool experience because it was not just as an actor, but as a boxer, and I'm a method actor, so I get into my character. I become my character when I'm on set, and it was so easy and fun to work with these people. Everybody on that set, and I mean everybody on that set, and this is super rare. You won't hear this from a lot of people, but every single person was really cool. They were extremely cool, too cool, where I felt like it was fake for a second. Like I felt like everything going on was like fake, because I was like, how could it be that my first job ever, hearing all the stuff that you hear from other actors and other people, in Hollywood and all this. My first job ever happens to be that good with so many cool people, all within, like a lot of musicians within there too, a lot of talented people. I met so many people within that. And I made such good friends that I went back to work on a second show for 2 seasons.
Wow.
That spoiler. I don't know if that's a spoiler actually.
I don't know when this is
It's good.
coming out.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No one there is going to listen to it, at least. I don't think so. Or understand it.
Listen, these are questions is worldwide, so you never know.
Well, you know what? If they find out, then you guys are welcome.
Just cut it out. X up. Bye-bye. All right.
So, and the second show that we're doing, that we filmed recently, it's called The Power of the Sunflowers, El Poder de los Girasoles, which, by the way, is going to be a beautiful story. Now, El Repatriado just recently was released worldwide. It's in United States and in Puerto Rico. It's on Hulu. In the rest of Latin America and some European countries, it's on Disney Plus. So it was just added on Disney Plus in all of Latin America maybe 4 days ago. Already starting to see good traction on my socials before it, and good numbers on the music because Clover is on the song. I was also able to put my song Clover on it. Thank you so much to Pipe and Nuno Gomez. Those are the 2 directors for the showrunner, Felipe and Nuno. They did such an amazing job. Camo, my God, if you see the show, the views, the way the lighting was set up, the way that everything it's such beautiful work. It was beautifully done. It was such a masterpiece of how it was done. And we are extremely happy. I mean, there was a lot of things that were taken out and that weren't put in, but that wasn't to do with anything on any of the people working on set. That happened to do with, after the post-production and all that, they decided to take some things out and all that. Sure. But that's normal.
Yeah, it's nature of the beast.
But that changed my life. That changed my life. Repatriado changed my life because it not only proved to me, yeah, you're a good actor, because if not, then you wouldn't be on Disney Plus. But the relationships and the friendships I made out of that show helped me get the second one. And so now the second one, what the second one did to not just me, but to everyone around me is, oh, he's an actor, because a lot of times, when actors become an actor, they get one big role and then you don't see him again, But when you start getting reoccurring roles, and I'm not saying I got a huge role that it's the biggest thing that's ever happening, but it's a start, and it's a good start. So Disney Plus again, and now auditioning this year and all that. I got a new agent as well internationally, representing me in different spots that I wasn't represented. So now more people are looking at me. I have more professional work. I have more things to do, and I am very, very happy with where everything's going. But that one right there, that first job, it changed my life, and it gave me so many different values of not just my career, but of like boxing, for example, and of other people. And all these people are still around me. I text them constantly. We have group chats with all the cast of the people. We're always supporting each other and helping each other out. And yeah, it was beautiful.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that. That's a huge accomplishment there of working with a major network like Disney there and having at such a young, early stage of your career. Like I said, just sky's the limit of what you're trying to do into the future there. And I wish you the best there. I need to check out the show and give you my thoughts on it, because I always love supporting people that I know in the industry doing big things, because I feel like that's just a big kind of collective kind of piece for everyone. You know what I mean? You always want to root for your own wins when you get them, but you always want to root for those that are deserving, that want to get those wins as well. It just makes everyone a better place together. So kudos to you, man. And I can't wait to see what you do in the acting space. You definitely have a ton of talent, and it's just a matter of just where you want to go, what you're trying to do, and where life takes you.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And it leads to my next question, because you've had a lot of varied, unique and cool experiences in your respective fields. What's a great pie? It's not me screwing up. I swear it's not. I've been doing this for 5 seasons, and I'm still messing up. Fantastic. Keeping that in too.
Yeah, you have to.
I have to now. My question is, what is a great piece of advice for someone trying to make it in the various industries that you're currently in?
The best piece of advice is do what makes you happy, because throughout what I've noticed throughout my life, and throughout not just mine, but the people that you meet, the people that I'm introduced to, and all that, everyone comes into this life with no restrictions, with no idea of what society wants from you, with no idea of what others want from you. You are born, and you just start growing up, and you start taking in whatever's closest to you. which is why sometimes when as we grow up, we start closing in, or some people are open, a lot of more people close in. That's why we live in such a world right now where like I can't really say hi to my neighbor, and it's normal anymore. Back then, I used to, we would go out, we would have fun, it's not, but now it's a little different. Times are changing and everything. But throughout my whole existence, and it's not that my parents never told me this or anything, but it's not been told to people. They don't tell you this in school. They don't tell you this when you go to the coach or whatever. A lot of people don't tell you to focus on your happiness. They tell you get a good job, raise a beautiful family, teach them the important values of or morals and all this other stuff. Get them in school, get them to work, get them to have a family, and it's a cycle. That's really all we're taught in school. Get a job, get a job, and even like in other aspects of life, it's always pushed to do something else. But no one ever is pushing you publicly to do what you want to do. What makes you happy? What is the thing that makes you want to get up in the morning? Because a lot of times people are working at their jobs and they're doing stuff that they don't want to do just because it simply pays their money. And yeah, you got a roof over your head and you got money. You don't have to worry about the tax collectors. You don't have to worry about the cards calling you. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. But you're missing something inside. And that's because at some point in your life, if you stay in that route, you're going to look back and say, what did I do? Why, whose life did I impact? Did I truly juice everything I could out of my life, out of the finances that I had? You don't understand the amount of people that when COVID stopped, or not stopped, it's still on, but you know what I mean? Like when it slowed down a little bit, that they all thought to themselves, they're like, I don't want to do what I was doing before. It was like a break where they're like, I don't know what to do. I need money, I need this, I need that. But then they start questioning, their life decisions. And every time people ask me for advice, because I am doing something that I want to do and people can see it publicly, they're like, all right, well, he's an actor, he's a musician, he's working, he's doing that, Yeah. And we didn't know Ian as an actor, musician. We knew him as Ian, the soccer player, veterinarian. That's it. They could have bet money that I was going to be a veterinarian and they would have lost it, but it was almost assured at first.
Yeah, of course.
So 100%, always the advice that I always give people is look for your happiness, yours, before anyone else's. Even when it comes to like relationships, even when it comes to everything. Because if you do that, and obviously not your happiness over someone else's, your happiness and just you, whatever you can control, of you. But like the decisions that you make and all that, make whatever makes you happy. You've been taught your whole life. If it makes you happy and it's something you want to do, and it's something that can, better your life and better the ones around you, do it. It seems hard, and a lot of people, I don't have the talent to be an actor. I don't have this, I don't have. Right, and you can bleep that one out. Like you can bleep it again. All right, because
make me do more work. It's okay.
Because it's you can do whatever you want to do. Like I'm not a born like people. Like I was having a conversation with a person once, like recently, and I'm like, I wasn't born an actor. I haven't been doing this for my whole life. I wasn't. It's a simple decision. I said I wanted to do it. And then I went and learned. And I practiced. I studied. I put 100% of my effort and time in that, even if it left me poor. Well, not poor, broke, better said. Poor is mentality. And I talking to other people about it too. Everyone's like, oh, but I wouldn't be able to be in the same position that you are doing the Disney Plus shows and all that. And I'm like, well, you don't know. Because life with me happened in a way where I wouldn't have known. It wasn't obvious that I was going to get a Disney Plus show. It wasn't. It happened in the most random and weird way. And it only happened because I was in that world. Because I 100% dedicated myself to that. And only that. If I would have had a plan B and we're working on my plan B while doing that, my plan A, which is music and acting, would not have worked. That's why I had to drop out of school. Because I needed to dedicate myself and be in that world to accept these opportunities when they came. Not hope and then, oh, maybe I got an opportunity, now I can drop this. No. It's this and only this. Because this is what I want to do. I don't want to work the restaurants. I don't want to work doing this. I don't want to work doing that. I'm gonna survive and live off the best I can with my passions, and I'm gonna find a way to make money in this way. And I'm still obviously I'm starting off. It's still on the beginning stages, but no one's gonna get rid of this high that I have right now on where I'm going. And it's simply because I'm focusing and paying attention to my happiness. I'm happy because I'm doing what I want to do. And besides that, obviously, once I get to a good position and everything, I'm bringing everybody up. There's no way I'm going in alone. Everybody's coming with me. We're all going to be working in the same spot, making money and being together, because that's also making me happy.
Mhm.
That would also make me happy. You know what? Who wants to make it on their own?
Well, that's just an oxymoron in itself because like I I don't know anybody in any of the fields I've been in that got up purely by themselves. It's practically impossible. Someone's
Exactly.
got to give you that yes. Someone's got to help you when you're down. Someone's got to give you that piece of advice that just sparks the innovation or sparks your creativity or sparks the madness to do something. You know what I mean? So like I always say like you do have to you yourself have to play a big part obviously because you got to put the work, the time, the effort, everything goes in it. But you got to support the people that are supporting with you just like you're supporting them in whatever endeavors you do because one it's courtesy, it's a
Exactly.
thank you for giving someone a chance and giving me the time of day when most people wouldn't give a damn about who I am and what I do. And number two, it's just more enjoyable because it's going back to what I said and what we were talking about. I enjoy when I have my wins, but I'm enjoying when you have your wins. Like I'm so happy that you had all this stuff, and I know I only known you for a little bit of time, but just like man, that's amazing. You're kicking butt. You're kicking ass. You're making things happen. And like when we interacted in person, you were genuinely really cool with me. So that's like those are the vibes I want. Those are the vibes I hope you want with your people, your friends. You're going for your family. You know what I mean? So like just everybody bring everybody up together. Let's all make money together. Let's all make opportunities together. Let's all live the lives that we try to do as best as we can and enjoying the roller coaster and the peaks and valleys of life itself.
Exactly, exactly. Because at the end of the day, also, it's like it's not about the money. Like it's not. I know we have to. It's sad that we need to work on it, and it's sad that we're judged based on how much we could bring. Because me today, not having $1 million, nowhere near $1 million, right? Being in the position I'm in today, and me tomorrow with $1 million, I'm the same. I'm the same person. But and for some reason we look at each other in a different way. We don't see that. You know, that's why I can't wait till we start making that money so we can finally do exactly what we want and only what we want. We can say yes and no to whatever we want, which is the goal. And especially when it comes to the arts. You know, in the arts, you want to say, I'm gonna take that job. Or, you know what? That's not for me. Not depending on the money. Doing it slowly off of what I want to do, you know? And with it's a little empire. It's a little empire of people with the same mentality as you who are working hard, who also have their goals and they want to achieve, and we're all gonna do it for sure. So I mean, of course, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's win more. Let's make things happen and continue on with our prospective projects and experiences there.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And we are getting towards the tail end of These Are Questions. This has been a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for being part of it. As always, I just have one more question to ask you, and it's a very important question. And the question is, if you were refrigerator,
Of
okay,
course.
what type of food would you store in and why?
Hmm. Well, if I was a fridge, funny enough, I have a fridge right in front of me, so I get to method myself. I'm being the fridge right now. Okay,
Yes.
I'm taking it in. I'm feeling cold inside. Right.
Mm,
If I wanted something, if I wanted food inside me to hold for later.
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go with the food of my places. So Peruvian food, Argentinian food, some asaditos. We get
Mm,
some arroz chaufa, lomo saltado, ají de gallina. We get some of these amazing dishes in there. Oof, my grandma, when she comes by, she leaves the fridge stocked. So I'm thankful. I have a lot of things that I would love to be in my fridge, but for sure Peruvian food. That's one of the best foods in the world. If you haven't tried it, try it. Try it.
I have when I heard it, I was like, man, that sounds so good right now.
I know, me too. It's getting close to lunchtime, isn't it? Or something like
Well,
that.
we're on the internet, so someone could be listening to this at 5 o'clock in the morning or it's
Oh,
8
it's
p.m.
always
at night.
lunchtime.
It's
It's always
yeah,
lunchtime.
it's lunchtime somewhere, you know. So it sounds amazing right now. It sounds really good, and like you
Yeah,
can't go wrong with it.
yeah.
Okay.
Some Peruvian food for sure is in my
Okay.
fridge.
Okay. Okay. Hey, you never know. You may have an acting gig where you are the refrigerator and that's your role in it. Or you could be making a song based on refrigerators, like a jingle for a company. You never
Or
know.
SNL, SNL. Who knows in the future? SNL
Listen,
starts off. If we start with the fridge, we got to come back to this one. Remember that. If I come up with the song for the fridge or something.
you never know. Like I've said that with some talents here on These Are Questions in past episodes. I say XYC is gonna happen, and some of it hasn't happened, but there's been some that has, and they're like, "Oh my God, Steven, you were right." I'm like, "Listen,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's not too far. SNL, if you're
mhm.
hearing.
We'll send it to them. We'll send it to Lord Michaels. We'll send it to SNL and
Yeah.
just see what happens. Get you audition for it."
Nice.
We are at the end of our These Are Questions interview. Ian, it was such a pleasure interviewing you for this episode of These Are Questions. But right now, the floor/internet floor/floor internet/refrigerator is yours. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to promote, anything you want to say before we end off this interview, it is all yours.
Okay. Well, I would love to say my plans for this year, real quick.
Okay.
I am about to also with Carolina. We are about to rust it. Well, Carolina's rusting it already, but I'm about to rust it too. In February, I start posting a song of mine a week. So Carolina and I came to the decision. We're like, okay, we're sitting on way too much music. So it's time the world hears it, because even though, as a musician, we get in our heads, we're like, this doesn't sound perfect yet. It's just a demo. It's just a demo whenever we play it for somebody else. And hence the name of Carolina and I's duo, Just a Demo, which we released a song last Friday called Lavender Gold. I love that song. It's such a vibe. Please listen to it and let me know what you think. I really do want to know what you think, even if it's, to tell me what I could do better or whatever. Everything helps. And Lavender Gold came out, and it's a beautiful song. We love it. But yeah, starting February, every Friday, I'm going to be posting a song. And every second Friday of each month is going to be a song from Just a Demo. So I'm excited because this is as perfect as we can do it. I sound a lot better than I did when I first started working on music, and I'm only getting better. So as time gets by, hopefully everybody starts agreeing and they realize that I am, a solid musician that makes music from all genres. I can work all languages. I have a few songs that will be coming out, Spanglish or Spanish, Portuguese. I'm learning French now, so who knows?
Oui.
Yeah, oui. I know Italian, so I'm hoping I start meeting some of these Italian musicians, and they say, you want to work together? It's like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm pushing myself as far as I can, because I've got some noise in the acting world, and I want to make some noise in the music world, because I do want to start succeeding in everything that I want to, because at this point I feel like I've been in my way from not posting my music and feeling a little bit self-conscious about certain things.
Yeah.
Self-conscious. But that's over. It's time, and going full force ahead, and I'm ready for everything.
Okay, awesome. You heard it there. It's been an amazing 2022 for you based on the interview we've been discussing with, but 2023 seems like it's going to be an amazing time for you, and I wish you the best of luck with everything for it. And I can't wait to listen to your new music that's coming out in the next coming weeks. And I will link everything on social media in the description down below on our episode feed for those that are watching on our YouTube, and for those that are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We do appreciate you listening/watching These Are Questions and continuing on with this through season 5. Greatly appreciate it there. And with that in mind, you have been watching/listening to These Are Questions. Questions. Conscience questions. Ooh, spinoff right there. Have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching/listening to our episodes. Appreciate you all.